My Little Pony has a bunch of iconic villains that everyone loves or hates, but in the Equestria Girls universe, they're nowhere to be found. So where are they? What happened to them? Stick around because I'm going to show you everything. Hey beautiful people, I'm Julie. Let's start by talking about two characters who aren't exactly villains but can definitely be a little annoying. Trixie. Back in season 1, she was really just one of Twilight's challenges, and in Equestria Girls, she's been around since the very first movie as a regular student. So everything checks out. And since she's a pony, there isn't much difference when it comes to her design anyway. She's basically supposed to be a normal human. She never really became a villain in Equestria Girls. The worst she ever did was act a little obnoxious under the Dazzlings' influence. Garbo. He's more of a jerk than an actual villain, but if we follow the same logic they used for Spike, he'd probably be a dog too. Maybe a bigger breed like a Rottweiler, but honestly, who knows? Let me know in the comments what dog breed you think fits this dragon best. Personally, I love if his Spike had been turned into a human boy. I think it's totally unfair that he ended up as a dog, when the diamond dogs themselves are humans in the Equestria Girls world. But sticking with that logic, Garbo would probably just be a different breed of dog. Discord. I think one of the saddest things was seeing Discord as a plushie. Seriously, he doesn't exist as a human. He's just a plushie. And sure, his original form is a Dragon Equus, which is kind of a nightmare to turn into a human character, but there's plenty of fan art out there that proves that it could totally work. He could have been like a chemistry teacher who keeps causing explosions in the lab, or maybe the owner of some weird little shop full of bizarre gadgets and random stuff. There are so many fun directions they could have gone with him. Honestly, he could have shown up for 5 seconds selling toys at a carnival booth, and fans would have been thrilled. Now, let's move on to the real villains. Can you believe Maniac is a comic book character in the Equestria Girls world, just like in the pony world? So she doesn't actually exist there, which makes sense. I mean, she never really existed in the first place, right? Cozy Glow never appears, but since she was originally just a regular pony, she'd probably be a student around the same age as the Cutie Mark Crusaders. She'd most likely be that annoying bully everyone in their class has to deal with. And honestly, without magic in Equestria Girls world, she probably would have been much more than that. After all, her biggest move in the series was taking control throughout magic. Without that kind of power, or at least without access to that much magic, I don't think she would be able to cause too much trouble on her own. She would probably focus on stirring up drama between classmates, spreading rumors, or creating conflicts between different groups at school. And just to clear some things right up, this character here is not Cozy Glow, okay? Cozy Glow is much younger than Twilight, so it wouldn't make sense to her to be attending Canterlot High as a teenage high school student. Tirek. In Equestria Girls, he got reduced to a video game boss, which is a reference to the labyrinths associated with minotaurs in Greek mythology. The only problem is that Tirek is a centaur, completely different species, but it's still a pretty cool reference. So yes, technically, he exists as an Equestria Girls, just not as a real character. Honestly, if he did exist in that world, things probably wouldn't go very well. I mean, he was a conqueror who stole magic from every pony and creature he could. So in a human setting, he'd probably end up as some kind of dictator trying to seize power or stage a coup somewhere, and then get arrested. You can actually take the idea even further. In the pony world, Tirek was their heir to a distant kingdom. So if Equestria became Canterlot High and the Crystal Empire became Crystal Prep Academy, maybe Tirek's kingdom could have been another school in some faraway region. Maybe his father was the principal, Tirek held some high-ranking position at school, and his greed eventually causes the whole place to fall apart. What do you think? Does this theory make sense to you? If it does, don't forget to leave the like button below. King Sombra never officially appears in Equestria Girls, but I think the same kind of logic applies to him. If he did exist in that world, he'd probably be a former principal of Crystal Prep Academy. Maybe he grew up there, studied there, and eventually became so frustrated with the system that he tried to take over the school himself, basically installing himself as the new principal and running the place like a mini dictatorship. Because when you think about it, that's pretty much what he did in the Crystal Empire before everything fell apart. So in this version, he would be trying to seize control of the school. He could even end up competing with Cadence over leadership and school policies, the kind of school politics that would fit perfectly into the Equestria Girls setting. Of course, in the end, he'd lose and face the consequences. I mean, let's be honest, King Sombra was never really a good guy. Chrysalis doesn't appear in the show either, but let's think about it for a second. She's a conquering queen who invaded multiple kingdoms and devastated entire populations. So if we translate that into the human world, she'd probably be involved in serious crimes, maybe an identity thief, given her shapeshifting nature, or even something much worse that I'd rather not get into. I think she would be a pretty dark character no matter how you adapt her. And if that's the case, ask yourself, where would someone like that be? In prison, obviously. Behind bars, which might explain why she never shows up in Equestria Girls. Hasta la vista.